Hello everyone and welcome back to another Universe Sandbox video, and today we're going to be doing another episode of evolving a custom solar system from birth to death. So as you can see, I've already set up a system. We're actually doing a binary system this time with Alpha Centauri 8, and then we've got Gassa Brown Dwarf down there as well. So we've got two different stars. I've already set up our planetary disk to form some planets in as well. So if you've not seen this series before, this is basically where we form a solar system. So the way a solar system would naturally form with a planetary disk, we form planets, and then we let time play out for a long period of time. We start to let our star get bigger and larger, more brighter, and then eventually we'll evolve all the way to the end of the solar system where the star eventually becomes a red giant, and then eventually will become a planetary disk of material itself, or once it becomes a planetary nebula or a supernova, depending on how large we make the star. Or maybe it'll even end up as a black hole or a pulsar. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this one turns out. But yeah, without further ado, let's hop into this. So as we can see, I've used Alpha Centauri A this time. I've made it obviously a micro version of Alpha Centauri A. So it's only 3.05 Jupiter radius so far. So it's basically a baby protostar at this point. And it's also got a sister star over here. So we've got a brown dwarf as well to go with it. So let's get into some planet forming. So here we are. So we've got our massive planetary disk of material. We're going to go full random this time around, and I'm going to spawn our objects in. So we're going to go with some objects close to the star. We're going to go with some further out, and yeah, we're going to have some random gas giant. We're going to have a gas giant in there as well. We'll probably go with let's go with maybe three. We'll go with 4 gas giants, so we could see an orbit change in there, and then we'll go with a hidden 5th one that's extra far out near the brown dwarf, so I'm pretty sure we'll expect to see what happens with that. And then we'll go with some random rocky planets in there, so we'll go with a nice amount in there. We can customize them later down the road as well, but also going to throw some rocky planets in the gas giant orbits as well. We can already see some more. There's already stuff evolving, we've only just started because the brown dwarf is picking up material in there as well. Okay, so we've got our sort of inner system there. Okay, there we go. Right, I'm happy with that. So we've got our system. So we've got some bunch of brand new planets formed. Now obviously I want to get to customizing them, because it can't be a cool custom solar system if we don't customize anything. So we'll line them all up. So I'm not sure which one is which, honestly, because I don't know any of these, because these are all just brand new. So this appears to be the first of the gas giants. So we're going to make this our dominant gas giant. So we're going to go to about 1.2 Jupiters on this guy. So it's going to be our most dominant gas giant. We'll try and make it more Jupiter coloured as well, just to sort of have the representation of it being the big bad gas giant. So I guess we'll go with something like that. Try and make it a sort of, yeah, maybe we'll go with like an ice orange sort of shade. So that's our dominant gas giant. So it's something basic. I'm not going to go too in depth with customization. And then we'll give it a nice orange trail to boot with it as well. Okay, next gas giant out, aura packs. Okay, so this we'll go with like an orange and yellow theme with this guy. So maybe like a Saturn-y sort of shade of colours as well. So we've got like a Jupiter, and we have like a Saturn-like object in there as well. So we'll go with a nice sort of yellow and orange sort of shade. We'll go add a few extra bands to this guy as well, why not? And just have a nice mix of like yellow and orange in there as well. So something like that. Something a little interesting there. South Pole will go to a nice sort of yellowy golden colour. I mean, I think some of the colours are a little too intense, so I will sort of fade them out. I want to make him look semi-realistic-ish, so something like that. There we go. Interesting. Okay. So there's our next planet out. What's this one here? I think that's just that's a planet with an atmosphere. Okay, interesting. We'll have to see how that one turns out. We've got an asteroid there. What's this planet here? It's another rocky planet. What's this one? Because we did spawn a decent amount of gas giants in here, so there's at least 5 of them. So we just need to find them all and locate them all. So we've got Curio over here. Can I select that one, please? There's one. Okay. So we'll make this one more of an ice giant. So we'll go like Uranus, Neptune-like colours. Why not? So it should be interesting. Nice shades of blue in there. I like to have the good old gas giants and some ice giants to sort of mix things up as well. Or we could have a combination of the two. So we could like an ice giant mixed with a gas giant sort of theme. So we'll go with a nice sort of light yellows for Saturn, and then we'll have like pale sort of blues, sort of have a Uranus Saturn hybrid almost. That could be quite interesting actually. How about that? Yeah, I like that. So we have like a mix of all sort of gas giant colours in there. That's really good. Okay, I'm liking the way this is turning out. So it's kind of got like the colours of all the gas giants in it. You've got like the Jupiter orange, the Saturn yellow, Uranus blue, Neptune blue. Yeah, I'm liking it. Maybe I'll even throw like Planet 9 sort of blue in there as well. Why not? Could be quite a cool one actually. I'm liking the way that's turned out actually. Having like all the different gas giant colours sort of mixed in there. That's pretty cool. Something like that. I do like that. I have to say, I really do like the way that looks actually. Have like a mysterious dark blue at the bottom. It's got like Planet 9 blue, Neptune blue, Uranus blue, Saturn yellow, Jupiter orange. And then it's got we'll have the mysterious blue at the top as well. So that's an interesting sort of mix of gas giant and ice giant in one planet there. I do like that. I think that's a really cool looking one. So give it like a green trail. What's the next gas giant? There was definitely one more. There was at least 5, so we need to find them all. That's a gas giant as well. So we'll have that as like a Neptune like Planet 9 sort of mix of colours there. Something like that. There you are, and then Neptune blue, so it's a sort of Planet 9 look-alike there. There should be one more. Where's this one? Oh, there is one closer than our dominant gas giant. Okay, so this one will be a interesting one then. Okay. So it's already got a nice sort of colour scheme set on it as well, actually. So I'm just going to give it more of those gas giant colours, sort of. Yeah, something like that, I guess. A little more orange there, sort of mix it up a bit. Yeah, something like that. There you are. Okay. So is that all of the gas giants customised? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 gas giants. Okay. So we've got a nice mix up there. We've got a bunch of rocky planets to check out as well. But there is all of the gas giants. So if we just have a comparison here. So the dominant gas giant should be the orange one. Well, that is big as well. It's bigger than the brown dwarf. It's a huge gas giant. Okay. Oh. Wait, where are we going? Oi. Okay, there we are. So then I want to just change that. I don't want them all being the same size. So I'm going to buff up the radius a bit on some of them. There we are. Just to have a few, just to have some differences between them. We don't want them all being the same after all. So there we are. Okay. And there's the mix of like all the gas giants together. So that's an interesting one. I think dominant gas giant, I want to say it's a little, I mean radius is large. I'm going to lower the radius a bit. So it's about, I want it to be above a Jupiter in mass though. So there we go. There's the mass and that. Okay. I'm liking the way that's turned out. It's looking good. Yeah, I think that looks cool. So we've got nice sort of different sizes there. And I think on the rocky planets we'll give them random values. So for instance this one will times up to 2, so we've got a super Earth. This one for instance we can lower. And just try and sort of differentiate them all. So this one's already got Earth-like conditions by the looks of it. You can see some water on it there. Okay. Interesting. So if we're working with a whole fresh slate here, because normally we would, that is way too big. Normally we would actually, no, that's fine, actually. But normally we would have just planets that I already have in my saved files. But this time we're going fully fresh and just have completely random, brand new objects to play around with. Because this could be, could have some pretty interesting objects out of this. So, yeah, just trying to make them all as good as possible. And we'll get to customizing them as we let the system evolve as well. So, okay, I want to say that's a nice sort of lineup of objects there. Something like that. Got some super Earths in there. We've got some smaller objects as well. Yeah, it should be interesting. So got some really small objects at the bottom there. I think that's a fairly nice lineup of Rockies. What do you think of that? I think it looks quite good. This one's already got Earth-like conditions, so we'll have to see how that plays out in this system. So we're going to click play. We need to save obviously first. Yep, that's fine. So we've got our gas giant set up. Let's do that, and now we can actually get to evolving our custom system. Now we've set up the customization on all of the main objects. I'm interested to see how that Neptune object's going to play out, the blue one. So play. Okay, so let's see how this works. It'd be nice if we lock onto the star itself there. And what I need to do as well is delete the planetary disk as our planets are now formed. So there it is. That's what we've got so far. So onto the inner solar system first. Let's see how closest planet to the star. So it's minus 21 degrees right now, so obviously our star is not very bright. It looks like a Mercury-like object, this one at first glance. So there's that one. Second planet out. This one's already got Earth-like conditions. So it's come out the box with Earth-like properties. So we're going to see sort of how that object plays out. as time progresses, because it could get very, very hot very, very quick there as it's fairly close to the start. Next planet out, we got another Earth-like world, and remember, these were all random spawns. We got pretty lucky there. Pretty cool. But we'll give them just some unique colours and stuff, just to differentiate them all. So there you are. Okay. So another Earth-like world. Pretty interesting stuff. Next planet out, we got a more. This one's an interesting one. Has it got any? Interesting colour. So it's almost like we'll make it like a thick sort of Titan Venus-like object. Why not? So yeah, could be interesting. Then we have a bit of a jump to the next planets. Another Earth-like planet. Oh my god, we got so many of them. We'll go with an interesting sort of redder shade on this guy. Just to have them all different. It's nice to just have different objects. So this one looks interesting. It's quite a dark and gloomy sort of world. So there's Akam. Next up, we've got Mole over here. Another Earth-like world. This one's going to be more of an ice world, I think, so we're going to have that as white. Let the simulation play out as well. This world's completely frozen, no atmosphere on it. Have that as a white one as well. This one is a blue, sort of thicker atmosphere. So let's actually have that as a... it's like a darker, deeper blue. That could be quite cool. And then do that, just so we got the customization. It is really fun making these customized worlds, I have to say. It is really, really cool. Another sort of generic, sort of rocky looking planet there. That is green. Okay, then we're on to the next sort of objects out. I mean, there's not much point customizing all the ones further out, because they're probably just going to be all frozen most of the time, so I don't think we need to do much of them. So we've got all of like the significant inner worlds sort of customized now, so that should be alright. Looking good. This one's got some frozen conditions as well. Alright, okay, I'm liking it. So that's cool. And I think I will actually just differentiate these guys, because they do look too similar in colour, so there you go. Okay. Yeah, this is looking good. I'm liking this. This is cool. There we go. So we've got a nice customized system now. Refresh, save, done. Right, now we can really get to evolving. So we're going to let time play out at a pretty fast rate. So let's just go full speed in. Let's see how things change. So we can see that the blue gas giant has already escaped the red, or the brown dwarf, I should say. It's already escaped the brown dwarf, and it's already orbiting. Its orbit is already mixing with other orbits. So we could see some interesting changes here as this blue gas giant comes in and out. And it could definitely change some orbits. We can already see it. One of the orbits has changed. This one here, this blue atmosphere one, that orbit has changed. We can see it. There is definitely changes going around in here. Remember, this is the dominant gas giant, the deep orange trail. This is the dominant one. It's got the most mass. So we're going to see if that has any interferences with some of the objects. Could make some interesting scenarios. Okay, I'm just going to make this one's trail a little brighter. I think we made it too dark. I'm going to make it just a tad brighter, just so we can actually see the trail. There we go. That's better. Again, we'll just save it just so we've updated everything. Nice. Okay. Looking good. Right, so now we can really open her up. Just let things change, evolve over time. Looking good. So we can keep an eye on that brown dwarf. There you go. It's affected the blue gas giant once more. And now the blue gas giant has been ejected a bit to a further out orbit. Interesting. So is that going to be like a Planet 9 eventually? Could it just get completely like a really far out orbit? Could it get completely ejected? I mean, we'll have to wait and see for the orbits to get close to each other once more and see how this plays out. Because remember, the brown dwarf itself, I mean, this has got more mass than the dominant gas giant. 25 Jupiter masses of there, so that's a lot bigger than the dominant gas giant for mass. We can see its orbit is stretching out some of those dwarf planets, those rocky planets are getting, yeah, there you go. So one of those rocky planets has been Sednified, I guess, similar to Sedna. Is it even going to hold on? I mean, that orbit looks pretty dodgy. Okay, see, this object's getting a very Planet 9-like orbit going on as well. Okay, interesting stuff. All right, looking good. Okay, so I'm going to go to save again. So we obviously need to make regular saves in this. Just make regular saves in this because things go very pear-shaped very fast. So I do want to have regular saves in case we do need to backtrack for any reason. Right. So, onto the star itself. I think we've ran the simulation for a long enough time where I think we can start to evolve our star. So we're going to enter the... Oh, no, I don't want to do that. We're going to go into like the yellow main sequence star phase. So I'm going to give it a yellow sort of tint. And I'm going to make the radius. I'm going to double the radius up. Oh, whoa, no, I don't want to do that. Bigger. Whoa, whoa, that's not exactly what I want to do. I want to go to around 0.8 suns. There you go. Not... is that right? Suns, 0.8 suns, yeah. Luminosity is 0.975 of sun already. Okay, interesting stuff there. Now I want to lower that as well. The way the luminosity and then the radius work in this game is very, very weird. Okay, we'll go 0.8. I mean, that's roughly what I wanted, so somewhere around there. There you go. Okay, so the star has already increased in mass. Well, not mass, no. Mass stays the same. It's already increased in radius and luminosity. So we can start to see that the habitable zone has already got larger. So we should see that the inner planets here could have some interesting changes. This one is at 82 degrees already, so that's going to get pretty hot. How's our closest Earth-like planet? Okay, so how are we doing on temperatures here? So it's at 102 degrees, so yeah, not looking too good, is it? I mean, it's got the Earth-like conditions. It's got the temp. It just hasn't got the temperature. 51. It's got decent stats, but as the star gets more luminous and brighter, this is not going to last. Unfortunately, this is a planet formed too close to the star. So it may have had the properties, but my guess is this is kind of like how Venus would have been in our own solar system. It may have had water at one point, but as our sun, for instance, got more luminous, at Venus eventually just all evaporated, and then it got its more toxic-looking atmosphere. So something along the lines of that. So you can see the blue habitable colour of it starting to fade out, the greenhouse effect is starting to increase, and the atmosphere is getting thicker. So the surface is getting harder to see as all that water evaporates. So this is almost becoming a Venus straight away, as it's just too close to the star to look after those temperatures. So a planet that was once blue is now becoming a Venus-like object. So something more like that. So there you are. So the surface is getting covered up. It is becoming full Venus mode on that object there. Okay. Next object out. Another Earth-like possibility world here. So it's at 19 degrees. So this is the planet that's in a more comfortable position at the moment. So let's check its stats. 84 and 31. Okay, nice. We'll give it a bit of water. Just a bit more water. Just to have a little bit of difference on it. So give it a nice load of water there. Let it build up a bit. It's got a pretty interesting rotation, this guy, as well. So it's a little smaller than Earth in stats. If we have a look underneath the atmosphere, there you go. So it's got, yeah, nice stats going on there. Nice colours. We will give it maybe just a greener surface, just to have a bit of life going on. So there you go. So currently it's a planet with life. So what do you think of that? Got a nice load of oceans on there. Got a nice vibrant green atmosphere. Clouds on it. We'll go with some thicker clouds just to make it look a little cooler. So there you are. So there's the second planet out at the moment. So a world that's pretty comfortable in temperature at the moment. But again, it probably will end up being like a Venus eventually as the star does get brighter. Next planet out. So this is the planet that already has a thick atmosphere, almost like Saturn's moon Titan at the moment. So I doubt we'll be seeing much nice conditions here. It's got a pretty basic surface underneath there. No water, unfortunately, on this guy. But maybe, as it's like Titan, we could have, although we can only have water in this game, maybe we could, in theory, have that water as oceans of methane, like Titan. So how about that? So like a dark orangey shade, literally like Saturn's moon Titan there. So it's got oceans of methane. Although we're using water to represent it, oceans of methane. What do you think of that? I think it looks pretty cool, actually. And then atmosphere goes back on that, so you can see that's all hidden underneath that surface. But if we just there you go. So you can see the oceans of methane there. They are pretty hidden. So what do you think of that? I think that's quite a cool looking world, actually. So there you go. You can always use water to represent different liquids. Now you can customize the color of it. So there you are. Next planet out. So this is another world that was Earth or had Earth-like conditions or Earth-like appearance originally. So, well, no, where did the water go? I'm sure it had the water. Maybe we'll just give it a little bit of water just to... There you are. Or maybe it could have a more sort of interest, like an ionized water, maybe like a reddish water, like you see in Space Engine, that red water, something like that. So it's not the most habitable world out there, but it has got some interesting conditions. Maybe a planet that can be colonized down the road. So there it is. Something like that. Next up we've got Akam over here. I don't think that was a world of too much interest. We've got Mole over here. That was a frozen world. Yeah, okay, so we won't touch any of those guys just yet. Okay, we also had this blue world out here. That was a cool Titan-like world as well. Okay, cool. Let's let things play. There you are. Okay, let things speed up. Cool. Alright, so let's just let things evolve as well. Can you see the orbits are still changing? Yeah, this blue gas giant has got a real Planet 9-like appearance to it now with its orbit. It does remind me of a Planet 9 orbit, so interesting stuff. We can see another object is having a little orbit with the brown dwarfs. We've got one of those planets out there, one of the other rocky planets, that one with that blue atmosphere. So we can see that's having some changes. We can see Orapax, one of our gas giants. I think this is the one that had all of the gas giant colours. Or was it? No, this is just this is the like Jupiter Saturn coloured one. That one's orbit is getting affected by the dominant gas giant, so the orange one. So this guy here, dominant gas giant, it is definitely having an orbital effect on Orapax there, as we can see. As it flies by close, you can see its orbit, yeah, it just got affected there by the dominant gas giant as well. So this one could eventually run into the brown dwarf and have its orbit changed as well. Interesting stuff there. Next up, we've got Curio, so that's the one with all the gas giant colours. That's, I like that. That's a pretty cool design. Cool. Okay. Oh, this one's got a real... This has like a Sedna orbit as well, so we have like a Sedna equivalent. Maybe just so we know it's the Sedna equivalent, what we'll do is we'll give it a quick Sedna colour scheme. So... make it reddish. There you go. Quick build on it. Why not? Cool. Okay, so save again. Now, what I'm going to do here is... I think I introduced this in the last one of these we did, and that is a interstellar traveller. So what that means effectively is we're going to have a rogue object enter the boundaries of our system, and it's going to fly by. We're going to see if it has any effect. Maybe it will, maybe it doesn't. It's all up to random chance and how the game decides to do it. So we're going to have a rogue. What should we go with? A rogue? You know what? Rogue brown dwarf. We're going to see what a rogue brown dwarf is going to do to our system. So where are we? We'll go with Gasser Green. So one of my favourite ones. We're going to launch it. There. Going to make it a little faster in speed as well. Voila. So we have a rogue interstellar object that has just come up on our systems, just come up on our maps. And we have a rogue brown dwarf entering our system. And we can see it's on for a pretty quick slingshot, as you can see. So this is going to be dangerous. What is this brown dwarf going to do? I mean, if we just turn off orbits and all of that, you can see the brown dwarf in the distance there. So you've got our main brown dwarf there. Then you've got this green brown dwarf approaching our system. And we're going to see what danger that is going to cause to our solar system. How much mass has it got? It's got 14.9 Jupiters of mass. So it's very similar to our own brown dwarf at 25. So it's pretty large. So we're going to see what happens when that guy approaches our system. So everything's still evolving. The system's still evolving itself. But with another object to enter the mix and fly and slingshot around, that could have some serious changes. Or we can just see our Neptune blue planet. That just had an interaction with our brown dwarf as well. Interesting. Okay, we can see the green brown dwarf is accelerating towards us. It is coming in hot. So we are going to keep an eye on those orbits very, very carefully. So we'll put labels on so we can see the brown dwarf is entering the system. The green brown dwarf is entering. We're going to see what's it going to do. It's flying in. We'll slow down time. There you go. It's flying through the inner solar system, and there you go. So it's just, or I think it just affected this planet here, Fawn, the most. But there you go. So it's slingshotting out of the system. So our interstellar traveller has came in and it has left our system. Or it's leaving our system. So that's gone. But it definitely had an effect on this planet here, Fawn. I think it gave it a more eccentric orbit, which in theory could have consequences later down the road if it has an interaction with another planet in the system. So there we are, guys. An interstellar traveller has just came and gone. So any feedback on that? Let me know. Do you want me to keep doing them? Do you think it's too drastic? Do you think it's me rigging it a bit too much? Let me know down below in the comments. Or do you like the interstellar travellers? I mean, I think they're a nice little addition. They are a genuine thing that can happen in reality. I mean, our own solar system, we've seen asteroids come and go from interstellar space. We've seen one. So, yeah. I mean, it can happen. So, in this case, we had a brown dwarf flyby. And that is now leaving our system. So, we'll say goodbye to that. But let's continue the system playing. So yeah, that's gone, so we can just delete that because we do not need that in here anymore. So interstellar travellers came and gone. We're going to go ahead and save as well. So we can already see it, the system has evolved a lot. Remember, all these orbits were spherical originally, but look how these orbits have changed. We can see a lot of them. I mean, the dominant gas giant is pretty much the only one its orbit is still spherical in the outer system. All the other orbits have been changed. And you can see the green and yellow orbits, they've been altered as well. So it's interesting stuff there. But anyways, back to the star. It's time to evolve our star a bit more. So Alpha Centauri A, gonna get a little bigger. So we're going to go up. We see the luminosity is getting bigger. So we're going to go up to about 10 Jupiters of radius. So you can see the luminosity is getting big. So that's now 1 sun in radius. So play. So there you go. So let time play out. So now we can probably see at the inner solar system planets. we're going to see some drastic changes. So we can see this object here, Flyby. So that's the closest planet. So that's our almost like our Mercury equivalent. Yeah, we can see it. That one is 145 degrees. Second planet out, 170 degrees. So we can see the greenhouse effect has made this one hotter than the planet closest. So it's like Mercury and Venus. So greenhouse effect. It looks like the water is all disappearing. There was more water on it earlier. So we can see the water is disappearing. It's getting very, very hot. So interesting stuff there. But going back to the hottest planet in the system, obviously this planet is quite close to the star. So what if its orbit rotational, or what if its rotational period suddenly got so slow it became tidally locked? So now the same face of this planet faces the star at all times. So we could see some drastic temperature changes there now, as this guy, one side of it is going to be roasting hot, the other side of it is going to be freezing cold. So that's going to be interesting. I'm going to make it sort of like a dark sort of greyish. I'm going to customize it, just have a bit of a customization going on it. So quite an interesting one. It's going to be quite a dark sort of brownish black theme, so quite a burnt, scorched surface now. So we're giving it a bit of customization there. Should be interesting to see how that one changes now. So there you go. Okay, so on to this planet as well. Yes, 171 degrees, our Venus-like object. Yeah, it's definitely becoming more like a Venus with that with that temperature going up as time evolves. So let's check its stats as well. So where are we? So we need to check surface, albedo. It's not very reflective, is it, this guy? So there we are. Infrared, we're going to turn it up. So we're going to see how this guy changes. Maybe the clouds, they're going to start getting more toxic coloured as well. So we'll give it the red clouds of like Venus, maybe. No, I'll keep the whiter clouds. So you can see we'll make it more like toxic coloured clouds. So sort of that faded orange, you can see the clouds. I think I'll go storm and thick. So you can see the thick clouds are starting to cover this once Earth-like world up. So yeah, that's kind of very, very Venus-like. Next planet out, so Horta. This was a planet that was lifelike in the previous star phase, but now as the star has got bigger and brighter, we can start to see at 80 degrees. It's going to start being the end of this system, so maybe the clouds are going to start becoming a little more Venus-like clouds as well. Maybe the atmosphere is going to start fading a bit as well. It's losing its nice colour. It's starting to become that Venus-like planet as well. So we're going to have two Venuses in here. The water is still on it for the time being, but I'm not sure how long that is going to last. So we can sort of evolve the planet's appearance as well. That's something we never really did too much because we had like preset planets, but since we've got these planets from scratch, we can evolve them as time goes on, which is cool. Next planet out. So this was our Methane ocean planet. So is that still so looking, where's the water? We did have Methane ocean. Was this the one I think this was the one we were doing, wasn't it? Yeah, water. Where's the water gone? Or the methane, I should say. The methane. Oh, it's frozen methane oceans. That's why. Okay. So that it's so cold here that, well, it's meant to represent methane. Obviously, if it was methane, it would be a liquid here. But obviously, because it's being represented by water, unfortunately, it is frozen. That's why it disappeared. Okay, never mind. Ignore that. So that's cool. I mean, obviously, we can quickly melt it just to show you. Melt all. Okay, so then you can see that's what it would look like once it would melt. So the methane oceans are there. So maybe we actually increased it a little too much. So, oh, hey, give me my oceans back. So there's the methane oceans. But obviously that's going to freeze as time goes on. So there we go. So yeah, ignore that. It's just me being silly. Okay, next up we've got Methane over here. So that's the planet on the very edge of the habitable zone at the moment. So we don't need to go any further. That's at minus 126 degrees. So there is not much going on. Okay, let's let time go. Let's see how this evolves. So there you go. So the start's getting slightly more dangerous as time goes on. So really interesting. Okay, so how are we doing out here? Outer solar system. We'll save as well since we did customize things. So there you go. All right, looking good. I'm really liking how this has turned out. I think this is a really fun one so far. I mean, yeah, having no preset planets and just having all the planets from scratch, I think that's quite a nice touch actually. So pretty cool. But also speaking of pretty cool, we're going to go with another interstellar traveller. It's going to come from upwards. And we're going to have a rogue gas giant. We're going to sling it through the system. So it's going to go from upwards. There it is. Rogue gas giant from a random place in space is approaching the system as well. So there you go. You can see it there. We'll give it a bright sort of bluish trail so you can see it. So we have a rogue gas giant also entering the system. So we can see there it is. It's going to approach fairly close to the star as well. Going to slingshot round. So we have to see how that plays out. Oh, look at that. We can see Brown Dwarf has just had a interaction with Aurapax as well. Interesting. So Aurapax is... This planet was closer than Curio, but it's now having its orbit stretched further out. Interesting stuff there. Neptune object is just chilling out here now. That's pretty cool. Okay, so here we go. So the Interstellar Traveller is about to arrive. So let's see how's that. Slingshots around. Let's see if that has any effect on any orbits. It does go into the inner solar system here, so we could see it have an interesting change. It slingshots through. Looks like everything stayed okay, but there you go. So it's another close encounter with an Interstellar Traveller. And that is obviously going to get slingshotted out. So there you go. Cool. So that's, yeah, that's gone. So there you go. Let's just delete that orbit, actually get rid of that. So another Interstellar Traveller. We can see out here we have another object like Sedna. So this was the one that was orbiting the Brown Dwarf at one point. Now it's like Sedna as well. So we can see some inclined orbits. So it really does go to show that the way Sedna is in our own solar system, something had to have put it there. It had to have been something that had a lot of mass. So what could it be? That is the question. It is it's a mystery. I mean, I really would like to believe that there is a hidden planet. I think that'd be really cool. But I have to wait and see, hopefully. I don't know what the future holds. Anyways, back onto the inner solar system as well. We can see that this object, Fawn, has had a interesting orbital change. We can see it's now entering the zone of the star. So that could give us some interesting bits here. So there it is, flying by. Looking good. Alrighty. Cool. Okay, so before we finish up today, we're going to evolve our star one more time, and then we'll see how that all plays out, and then we will finish today's episode off there. So we can see the star, it's now reached one luminosity of sun, I should say. So we are now going to increase our radius up. So it's going to pass here one luminosity of sun, actually. So there you go. So it's now going to roughly where Alpha Centauri would normally sit. Obviously, Alpha Centauri is normally brighter than the sun anyway. So we can see, yes, nice, a bit of an increase there to 1.4 luminosity of suns. Again, we're going to go ahead and save as well. Now we've evolved our star. Okay, now onto the planets, because we want to really keep an eye on the inner planets here. So Salby, the closest object. This was tidally locked, remember? So, yeah. You can see one area of it is starting to get hotter. You can see that patch of temperature there. That's obviously the face it's facing the star. So, interesting. Now, let's actually look at its surface stats. We can see here the tidally locked area is almost at 400 degrees. So, pretty cool indeed. Okay. Looking good. Okay, next planet out though. So, where is Bonk? Oh, it really does look Venus-like now, doesn't it? So I'm guessing all the water has disappeared at this point. There's nowhere any of it still left. Oh, no, there's a few little patches, actually. Okay, so if we look at the surface here, you can see the lower areas. Okay, no, the whole thing is actually over 100. So we can see that water is just hanging on. But I don't think it's going to be there much longer. So you can see the surface. Maybe we'll give it that more Venus appearance and colour as well. So surface view. You know, Venus has that distinct sort of orange shade, doesn't it? So maybe we'll give this one that sort of Venus-y orange shade as well. So there you go. So it really does look like a Venus. It really became a Venus. And originally it was a nice Earth-like one, but now it is a thick, clouded Venus. So we can see the surface barely visible anymore. The thick clouds covering it up. Not much going on there at all. So there you go. And next up we've got Horta over as well. This one is at 119 degrees now. So I think that green is eventually going to fade to the Venus distinct sort of shade as well. As there it is. There is still water under it, but it is becoming very hot. It has a lot more ocean levels than the other one, so it's going to take longer for that water to disappear. But yep, this is a planet as well that's eventually going to meet its fate with being too close to the star. So there it is. So the clouds, thick clouds, will change them colours a bit as this planet evolves. So I don't think it deserves that green anymore, does it? So it's going to have that sort of yellowy Venus shade as well. Next planet out, we have this one. So that was the Titan-like world. Minus 88 degrees, so obviously it's all still frozen. So that's where the freezing point is. It's around here still. Got Fawn that comes in and out as well, this planet here. I doubt its temperature really changes much as it doesn't really fly in. I mean, the red area is where the temperature is. If you're in the green area, you're probably going to be in the minuses. So, pretty crazy. Because remember, in our own solar system, Earth sits roughly on the edge of the red area. So if you're too far out in the green area, like Mars, then it's going to be too cold. And that's obviously what the case is here. This area here is way too cold. You need to be close to that red boundary for it to warm up. And obviously all these planets are going to be freezing as well, so there you are. So no temperature yet, but in theory this planet here, this is probably the Mars-like candidate. It's that planet that's just too far from the star at the moment, but in the future, as the star does get more luminous than, say, 2 suns, this is where this planet will come into its own and become the dominant Earth-like world in the system. So that'd be pretty cool, because that's the next, in theory, that is the next planet to melt that has water on it, so pretty cool. I mean, you do have was it Mole here? This is a frozen world for the time being, and then yeah, so this is a planet in theory could be a candidate as well. It is further out, but that in theory is a world that could in theory have water on it. I mean, if we look underneath the atmosphere and clouds, if we turn the water off and ice, I mean, you can't really see it actually, but I mean, it is there because you can see the water is added on. So I mean, if I just remove it all, add it on, yeah, the water is there, but it's just frozen, isn't it? So yeah, so that's all just waiting to be done at the moment, because obviously that's just going to freeze. I mean, click play, that's all going to freeze up, so melt. Well, no, freeze, there you go. So it'll be like that at the moment. So it's all frozen, waiting to be warmed up. But yeah, there it is. So at the moment, that's just a snowstorm world, just a lot of snow going on. I mean, maybe we'll, where is it? Clouds, we'll give it those thick, sort of icy snow clouds. A lot of like snowstorms going on here, very, very cold. So yeah, that's a world waiting to be warmed up. Then you also have this blue world out here. I mean, this could be a world that could have some sort of temperature in the future as well. But that's also, it's also frozen. Yeah, it's just waiting for its time. So there we are, guys. But yeah, that does it for episode 1 of evolving a custom solar system from birth to death. So it's been this one's been really fun. I've really enjoyed this one. So let me know thoughts, feedback, tips and tricks down below in the comments. Let me know. I mean, yeah, please let me know what you think of the interstellar travelers. I mean, I hope you guys enjoy them. I hope they're not too drastic. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions on those. And yeah, if that all said and done, guys, make sure you have a great day. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.